The city of Xiron never slept. Tall alien towers glowed with blue light, and the streets were filled with shadows of humans and aliens walking side by side. But the humans were not free. They lived under alien rule, and every debt was a chain. If a person could not pay, their body became the payment. Lira, a widow from the outer district, was dragged into the public square. Her arms were tied, her eyes were full of fear. Her husband had died in the alien mines, leaving her alone with nothing but unpaid bills. The alien said she owed more than she could ever pay, and tonight she would pay with herself. The crowd whispered. Some humans looked away in shame. Others only stared. The alien guards announced her punishment. She was sentenced to be rented by 10 men in one night. 10 men who would take what they wanted because she was no longer a person in the eyes of the law. She was property. Her heart beat so fast it hurt. She told herself she would survive the night, but she did not know if she believed it. The first man stepped forward. The crowd grew quiet, waiting for him to begin. He was tall, with a scar running down his cheek, and his eyes looked strange, different from the others. Lira lowered her head, waiting for the touch of cruelty. But instead, she heard a voice close to her ear, soft but firm. "I will not hurt you," he whispered. "I will protect you." She froze, not sure she had heard correctly. No one had ever spoken to her like that, not since her husband died. The man's grip on her arm was gentle, not rough. His eyes met hers, and in them she saw not hunger, but fire. He was not like the others. He was human, but there was something more, something hidden. The other 9 men watched with anger. "This is not your right," one of them shouted. "She is for all of us." But the first man did not move. He stood in front of her, blocking their way. Lira felt her heart twist, torn between fear and strange hope. Who was this man, and why would he risk himself for her? She whispered his name in her mind, even though she did not know it yet. Her chains felt a little lighter as long as he stood near. The guards began to mutter, wondering why the punishment was not moving forward. The air grew heavy, filled with danger. The man leaned closer to her again, his voice low. "Stay close to me," he said. "Do not be afraid." Her lips trembled. She wanted to ask why, but the words would not come. For the first time in years, someone looked at her not as a debt, not as property, but as a person. The crowd grew restless. The 9 men stepped closer, angry and impatient. "Move aside," they demanded. "She is ours." But the first man stood tall, his jaw set like stone. "I will not move," he said. His voice calm but sharp. "You will not touch her." The square fell silent. Even the guards blinked in confusion. No one had ever spoken against the punishment before. No one had ever dared. Lyra's breath shook in her chest. She could not believe what she was seeing. A man was standing for her, risking everything for a widow who meant nothing to anyone. Her knees felt weak, not from fear this time, but from something she could not name. The 9 men began to circle, their hands clenched in fists. The crowd leaned forward, waiting for a fight. The alien guards laughed, thinking the first man would be beaten quickly. But Lira saw the way he stood. His body was ready, balanced, as if he had fought many times before. Her heart whispered again, "Who is he? Why is he protecting me?" The first man's eyes never left the 9. He spoke without turning, his words only for her. "Trust me," he said. And then the first blow came. The square exploded with noise. The first man had stopped the punishment, something no one had dared before. The crowd gasped. The guards gripped their weapons. The 9 men clenched their fists. Lyra's heart raced as the first blow struck, but the man moved faster. His hand blocked the strike, his body twisted, and in one swift motion the attacker fell to the ground. The crowd roared in shock. Who was this man, and why was he protecting her? The 9 men surrounded him, their eyes full of hate. "This is not your right," one shouted. "You cannot steal her." But the man's voice was calm, deep, and filled with something powerful. "I am not stealing her," he said. I'm saving her." Lira could not understand. No one saved people like her. A widow with nothing, a debtor with no future. Why would anyone risk their life for her? Her hands trembled in the chains. Her breath came fast. She watched as the man fought again, moving like water, striking with precision. He was not an ordinary human. He was something more. The guards looked at one another, uncertain. They were used to humans crying, begging, obeying, but this man did not fear. He fought as if he had trained for this moment all his life. His eyes burned like fire. His stance unshaken, the crowd whispered, "Who is he?" One guard stepped forward. "You are breaking the law," the alien barked. "She belongs to the punishment." But the man's eyes narrowed. "She belongs to no one," he answered. "Not to you, not to them." His voice cut through the air like a blade, and for a moment, the square went silent. Lyra's chest tightened. Tears stung her eyes. No one had spoken for her since her husband died. No one had seen her as human. Until now, the 9 men attacked together, but the stranger fought with strange grace. Every move was fast, sharp, and controlled. He did not fight to kill. He fought to protect. And every time he blocked, every time he struck, he placed himself between Lira and danger, as if his body was a shield meant only for her. Her thoughts spun. Why? Why risk death for me? Why stand against 10 men and alien guards? The answer came when he finally spoke again, his voice low, almost only for her. "My name is Kale," he said. "I am human like you, but not from here." Lira blinked. "Not from here." What did that mean? Kale's eyes flicked toward the alien guards, then back to her. "I came to this city with a mission," he whispered, "and you are part of it." Her heart pounded. Her voice shook. "A mission," she whispered. "Why me?" But he only said, "Because you are not what they told you." Before she could ask more, one of the 9 struck again, a blade flashing in the dim light. Kale turned, caught the man's arm, and threw him into the ground with a crash. The crowd screamed, the guards stepped forward, weapons raised. "Enough!" One shouted, "He dies now!" Kyle grabbed Lyra's arm, his grip strong but gentle. "Stay with me," he said. "I will not let them take you." Her legs shook, her chains clinked, her body wanted to collapse, but his words filled her with strange strength. The guards advanced, their alien weapons humming with deadly energy. Kyle pulled something from his belt, a small device glowing red. The crowd gasped as he pressed it. A flash of light burst across the square, blinding everyone for a moment. When the light faded, Kale and Lira were gone. The crowd shouted, the guards cursed. The 9 men groaned on the ground. The aliens spread out, searching the alleys, but the 2 had vanished into the night. Lyra's heart raced as Kale pulled her through dark streets, her chain still clinking. "Where are you taking me?" she whispered. "To safety," Kyle said, his voice steady. "But you must trust me." She stumbled, nearly falling, but he caught her, holding her up as if she weighed nothing. His eyes met hers again, and she saw not only strength but sorrow. He carried secrets, heavy secrets, but he would not share them yet. They slipped into a hidden passage, a tunnel under the neon city. The sound of guards echoed far above, searching, hunting. In the dark tunnel, Kale finally spoke. "They wanted to break you," he said, "but you are not broken. You are more important than you know." Her breath caught. "Important," she said. "I am nothing." But Kale shook his head, his voice strong. "You are not nothing, Lira," he said. "You are the beginning." Her knees trembled. Her heart thundered. She could not understand, but she felt the truth in his words. Something deep inside her stirred. Something she did not know was there. And in that dark tunnel, for the first time since her punishment, began. She felt not just fear, but a spark of hope, a spark that might change everything. The tunnel was cold and narrow. Water dripped from the ceiling, echoing in the dark. Lyra's breath came quick. Her chains rattled with every step. Kale moved fast, pulling her deeper into the shadows. But the sound of pursuit was already close. The guards were not far behind. They stopped at a rusted gate. Kyle pressed his hand against a hidden panel, and the metal slid open. Beyond the gate was a forgotten chamber lit by dim red lights. Lira stepped inside, her body weak, but her eyes wide. This place was not like the city above. It felt older, secret, dangerous. Kale turned to her, his face sharp in the red glow. "You must stay quiet," he said. "They will come, but I will not let them take you." His words were strong, but she saw the tension in his eyes. He was ready to fight, even if it meant death. The echo of boots grew louder. The 9 men had not given up. They stormed into the chamber, their voices full of rage. "You cannot keep her from us," one growled. "She is our punishment," another hissed. Their eyes glowed with anger, and their fists clenched like weapons. Lira stepped back, fear twisting in her chest. She had seen fights before, but never like this. 9 against 1. The odds were impossible. Her heart screamed at Kale to run, to leave her, but he stood firm. "I will not give her to you," he said, his voice steady as stone. The first man charged. Kyle moved like lightning, dodging the strike, his hand snapping forward to hit the man's throat. The attacker stumbled, gasping, and fell to his knees. The crowd of 9 growled, circling closer. Kale's eyes scanned them, his stance ready, balanced. Every movement told Lira he had fought this kind of battle many times before. The second came with a blade sharp and glinting in the dim light. Kale twisted, the blade cutting only air. His elbow struck the man's jaw, sending him crashing into the wall. But the others pressed forward, fists, kicks, blades all at once. The chamber filled with the sound of metal and flesh colliding. Kale fought like a storm, every strike precise, every move made to protect. Lira pressed herself against the wall, her chains cold against her wrists. Her eyes followed Kale, her breath caught with every clash. She had never seen anyone fight like this. He was not only human, he was trained. But more than that, he was willing to risk everything for her. Why? She thought. Why me? The third man managed to land a blow. Kale staggered, blood on his lip. But he did not fall. He roared, a sound full of defiance, and struck back harder. 2 men fell at once, groaning in pain. Still, more came. Their anger grew, their strikes faster. Kale was outnumbered. Sweat on his brow, blood on his hands. Yet his eyes never left Lira. He fought not only against them, but for her. Every move was a promise. "You will not touch her." The noise of the fight reached the streets above. Alien. Guards rushed down the tunnel, drawn by the chaos. Their weapons hummed, glowing with deadly energy. The 9 men turned, shouting, "Guards, he is breaking the law!" They pointed at Kale, their voices loud and desperate. "He is protecting her, stop him!" The guards entered, their tall alien forms filling the chamber, their faces twisted in cruel smiles. They raised their weapons, aiming at Kale. Lira gasped, her heart frozen. It was over. He could not fight 9 men and alien guards at once, but Kale stood taller, his chest rising with every breath. He wiped the blood from his mouth and faced them. "I will not let you take her," he said, his voice like thunder. The guards laughed, the 9 men smirked. "You are one man," an alien hissed. "You cannot fight all of us." Kale's eyes burned, his fists tightened. "I am not one man," he said. "I am human, and I am not alone." For a moment, silence filled the chamber. Lira did not understand, but her heart trembled. Not alone. What did he mean? Was there more like him? Was there hope beyond the city walls? The guards moved closer, their weapons glowing brighter. The 9 men snarled, ready to finish the fight. Lira's breath came fast, her body shaking. She wanted to scream, but no sound came. Kale stepped in front of her once more, his arms spread wide. "Stay behind me," he whispered. "Whatever happens, do not let go of hope." The chamber glowed with alien energy. The 9 men closed in. The guards aimed, and Lira's world narrowed to one truth. This man, this stranger, was willing to fight the impossible for her. Her chains rattled, her heart pounded. And as the first blast of alien fire lit the chamber, she realized something terrifying and beautiful. Her life was no longer hers alone, it was bound to his. The chamber exploded with light. Alien fire cut through the air, burning holes into the stone walls. Lira screamed. The sound lost in the chaos. Kale moved fast, pulling her down as the blast missed her head by only an inch. The 9 men scattered, some running for cover, others using the moment to strike at Kale. But Kale was faster. His body twisted, his fist struck, and one more man fell. Still the aliens advanced, their weapons glowing brighter. "Run!" Kale shouted, his voice sharp. He grabbed Lyra's hand, pulling her toward the tunnel's far end. Her chains dragged across the floor, her feet stumbling. She could hardly breathe, but she ran. The air behind them sizzled with alien fire, each blast closer than the last. Her heart felt like it would burst. They broke through another gate, Kale kicking it open. The tunnel led upward, a stair spiraling into darkness. The sound of pursuit followed, alien boots pounding, weapons humming. Lyra's legs shook, every step heavier than the last. Her chest burned, but Kale's grip was firm, pulling her onward. "Do not stop," he whispered. "Not now." They burst into the open night. The city of Xiron stretched around them, neon lights flickering against the dark sky. The towers loomed high, their alien symbols glowing like eyes watching from above. The streets were alive with shadows, humans and aliens moving under the glow, but no one dared to interfere. Everyone saw the chase, but everyone looked away. No one would risk their life against the guards. Lira stumbled, falling to her knees. Kyle turned quickly, lifting her back up. His breath was heavy, sweat dripping down his face, but his eyes were still. "Fire. You must keep moving," he said. "They will not stop until you are gone." She wanted to answer, but her voice broke. She could only nod. Sirens wailed above, alien drones flying low, their red lights sweeping the streets. Kyle pulled her into an alley, pressing her against the wall. The drones passed, the shadows hiding them for only a moment. Then Kale dragged her deeper into the maze of streets. His movements sharp, like he had walked these paths before. He knew where he was going. "Who are you?" Lira finally whispered, her voice shaking. Kyle glanced at her but said nothing. Not yet. His silence was heavy, filled with secrets. But in his silence she felt something strange. Trust. Even if she could not understand why. They reached an old shipyard, long abandoned. Rusting hulks of alien transports stood like broken giants. The smell of oil and smoke filled the air. Kyle stopped at one of the ships, pulling at a hidden latch. A metal door opened with a hiss, revealing a dark passage inside. Lyra's eyes widened. "What is this?" she asked. Kyle looked at her, his face shadowed but firm. "This," he said, "is the start of freedom." Her breath caught. Freedom. The word felt heavy, almost impossible. Could such a thing exist for her, for any human in Xiron? She had only known chains, debts, punishment. And yet this man spoke the word as if it was real. Before she could ask more, a voice echoed behind them. The guards had arrived. Dozens of aliens stormed the shipyard, weapons glowing, drones circling overhead. Their leader shouted, "Stop them, do not let them escape." Kale pushed Lira inside the passage. "Go," he ordered. "Do not look back." But her feet froze, her heart pounding. "Kale," she began, but he cut her off. "I will not let them touch you," he said. "Trust me." She stumbled, forward into the dark corridor, her chains clinking. Behind her, she heard the clash of battle, Kale striking, aliens roaring, weapons firing. The sounds echoed through the shipyard like thunder. Every step she took was filled with fear that he would not follow. The corridor opened into another chamber hidden beneath the ship. There were old crates, tools, broken panels, but also a faint hum, a secret energy in the walls. Lira touched the metal, her fingers trembling. This place was alive. It felt different, like it held something waiting. Footsteps echoed behind her. She turned, fear in her chest, but relief washed over her. Kale entered, blood on his face, sweat soaking his clothes, but alive. His eyes locked on hers, and for a moment she forgot the danger. He was still here, still fighting for her. "They will come again," he said, breathing hard. But here we are hidden, for now. Lira's voice shook. Why me, Kale? Why risk all of this for me? He paused, looking at her with a gaze that pierced deeper than words. Because you are more than what they told you, he whispered. Because you are the key to something greater. Her knees weakened, her chains heavy. I do not understand, she said. You will, Kale answered, his voice firm. But not tonight. Outside, the sirens grew louder, the shipyard crawling with guards. The hunt was not over. But in the hidden chamber, under the broken ship, for the first time Lira felt the shape of a different future. It was fragile, uncertain, but real. A spark of freedom hidden in the dark, and as Kale stood watch at the door, his body ready to fight again, Lira whispered the word to herself, freedom. A word she had never believed in, but now because of him it no longer felt impossible. The hidden chamber shook with distant explosions. The shipyard above trembled as alien patrols searched every corner. Lyra's heart pounded, her chains cold against her skin. She stood close to Kale, her eyes filled with fear, but his voice remained calm, steady as stone. They will not find us, he said. Not here. The hum of the old walls grew stronger. Lira felt the vibration under her hands, like the ship itself was alive. She turned to Kale, whispering, What is this? Place. He glanced at her, his eyes sharp. A door, he said. A door to something they fear. Before she could ask more, Kale pressed his palm against a hidden panel. The wall slid open, revealing another passage. A faint blue glow spilled out, lighting the darkness. Come, Kale said, taking her hand again. You must see. They walked deeper. The tunnel opening into a vast chamber underground, Lira froze. Her breath caught in her throat. Dozens of humans stood there, hidden away from the alien city above. Men and women, young and old, their faces marked with scars and strength. Machines hummed around them, built from stolen alien parts. Maps covered the walls, showing battle plans. This was no hiding place. It was a base. Lyra's voice shook as she whispered, The Resistance. Kale nodded, his eyes never leaving her. Yes, he said. The last hope of our people. The humans in the chamber turned to stare at her. Some looked at her with suspicion. Others, with quiet awe, a woman stepped forward, tall and fierce, her hair braided tight. Kale, she said, her voice hard. Who is she? Lira shrank under the weight of so many eyes. She wanted to disappear, but Kale stood firm, his hand still, holding hers. She is the one, he said. The chamber fell silent. Lyra's chest tightened. The one, she repeated, her voice barely a whisper. What does that mean? The woman narrowed her eyes. Kale, we cannot risk everything on a stranger, she said. She is weak, a debtor, a widow. Her words cut deep, sharper than any blade. Lira felt her knees tremble, her shame heavy. But Kale shook his head, his voice filled with fire. She is not weak, he said. She is the reason I came. Lyra stared at him, her heart twisting. What reason? She whispered. Why me? Kale looked at her, and for the first time his face softened. Because you carry what they fear most, he said. Hope. The humans around them murmured, some doubtful, some amazed. The tall woman crossed her arms, her eyes cold. Hope does not win battles, she said, but Kale's jaw tightened. No, he said, but she is more than hope. He turned to Lira, his gaze piercing. Your blood, he whispered. It carries something ancient, something hidden by the aliens for generations. Her breath caught. My blood, she repeated. Kale nodded. They punished you not only for debt, he said. They punished you because of what you are. Lira shook her head, tears burning, her eyes. No, she said. I am nothing. I am only a widow. But Kale stepped closer, his hand brushing the chains on her wrists. You are not nothing, he said, his voice steady. You are the key to freedom. The chamber erupted, with voices, some shouted in anger, others in hope. The tall woman slammed her hand on the table. This is madness, she said. The aliens will find us and she will bring them here. But before Kale could answer, alarms blared. Red lights flashed across the chamber. The walls shook as explosions rang out above. The humans grabbed weapons, shouts echoing. "The aliens have found us!" Someone screamed. Lyra's heart stopped. The base was under attack. The resistance was burning. Kale turned to her, his eyes sharp. "Stay with me," he said. "Do not let go." The tall woman drew her blade, snarling. "This is your fault," she shouted at Lira. Lira stumbled back, tears streaming down her face. Her chest ached with guilt, with fear. But Kale's hand pulled her forward, steady and strong. Explosions tore through the tunnels, alien fire cutting down humans. The air filled with smoke and screams. Lira coughed, her body shaking. She wanted to fall, to give up. But Kale's voice cut through the chaos. "Do not stop." They ran through the collapsing base, humans fighting and dying around them. The ground trembled, the walls cracking. The tall woman clashed with alien guards, her roar fierce. But Kale pulled Lira away, deeper into the smoke. Every step was heavy, every breath burned, yet Kale never let go of her hand. They reached another gate, Kale slamming his fist against the panel. It opened to a dark escape tunnel. "Go," he shouted, pushing Lira forward. But before he could follow, a blast struck the wall. The tunnel collapsed behind them, sealing Kyle on the other side. Lira screamed, her voice breaking. "Kale!" she cried, reaching through the smoke. But all she saw was fire and falling stone. The guards' voices grew louder, their shadows moving closer. Lyra's body shook, her chains rattling. She was alone again. Her heart felt like it was tearing apart. She stumbled down the tunnel, tears blinding her. Kale had promised to protect her. But now he was gone and the aliens were coming. The tunnel shook with every blast. Smoke burned Lyra's eyes, her lungs heavy with ash. She stumbled forward, her chains dragging across the stone floor. Behind her, the world collapsed, the sound of screams echoing through the ruins of the resistance. "Basie." Kale's face burned in her mind, the last look he gave her before the wall fell. Her heart ached, her steps slow, but the guards' voices were near, their boots striking the ground like drums. Lira wiped her tears, her body trembling. She wanted to stop, to fall, to let it end. But his voice still echoed inside her. "Do not stop." So she forced her legs to move. One step at a time, the tunnel split into two paths. She hesitated, her breath shaking. Then a shadow appeared from the left passage, a man human like her but strong, his arm wrapped in armor stolen from the aliens. He raised a hand, his voice urgent. "This way. Come quickly." Lyra's heart leapt, hope flickering. Maybe Kale had sent him. Maybe this was rescue. She ran toward the man, her chains clinking, her eyes wide. He caught her arm, pulling her into the side tunnel. Behind them, alien fire burned. The stone guards shouting, their weapons close, but the man dragged her faster, through twists and turns until the sound faded. They stopped in a hidden chamber, small, dark, lit only by a broken lamp. Lira gasped for air, her body weak. The man studied her, his eyes sharp. "You are Lira," he said, not a question, but a fact. Her chest tightened. "Yes," she whispered. "Kyle, he—" But the man cut her off. "Kyle is reckless," he said coldly. "He puts us all in danger." Her breath caught. "You know him?" she asked. The man nodded, his jaw tight. "Yes," he said, "but his choices will destroy everything." Lyra's heart raced, confusion filling her mind. Kale had saved her, protected her, but this man's eyes burned with something else. Not hope, not compassion, but anger. She stepped back, her chains rattling. "Who are you?" she asked. The man's lips curled in a bitter smile. "My name is Draven," he said, "and I am tired of fighting a war we cannot win." Her stomach twisted. "What do you mean?" Draven's voice grew sharp. "The resistance is weak," he said. "Every battle ends the same, with more death, more blood, more chains." He stepped closer, his shadow looming. "But there is another way, a safer way, Lira shook her head, fear rising. What way? She whispered. Draven's eyes glinted with something dark. By giving them what they want, he said. Her blood turned cold. You betrayed them, she whispered. His smile widened, cruel and heavy. I gave the aliens the location of the base, he admitted. I made a deal. My life in exchange for theirs. Safety in exchange for loyalty. Lyra's knees weakened, her body shaking. You killed them, she cried, her voice breaking. Draven's expression hardened. They were already dead, he said. Every day they fought, every day more were lost, at least now I survive. Her heart twisted, grief choking her. Kale had trusted humans, trusted the resistance, but among them was a traitor. And now, the base was burning because of him. Draven stepped closer, his hand reaching for her. The aliens want you alive, he said. You are worth more to them than gold, more than armies. His grip tightened on her arm. Come with me, Lira, and maybe you will live. She pulled back, tears streaming down her face. No, she screamed. I will not go with you. Draven's eyes narrowed, his voice cold. You have no choice. Suddenly the wall shook. Alien guards burst through, their weapons glowing. Draven raised his hands, smiling bitterly. She is here, he said, pointing to Lira. I brought her to you as promised. Lyra screamed as rough hands grabbed her, dragging her forward. She kicked, struggled, but the chains cut her wrists, her strength fading. Her voice cracked. Kale. Kale. But no answer came. Only the cruel laughter of the guards. They dragged her up the tunnels out into the night. The city of Xiron burned in the distance, smoke rising into the sky. The base was gone. The resistance scattered. Lyra's heart ached, guilt crushing her. Kale had fought for her. Humans had died for her. And now she was back in chains. The guards pushed her into a transport, its walls cold and metallic. She fell to the floor, her breath shallow. Draven stood outside, his eyes full of empty victory. You will see, he said coldly. Survival is better than hope. Then the doors closed. Sealing her inside, the engines roared, lifting her into the sky. Through a small window she saw the stars, bright and endless. And then she saw it. The mothership, massive and dark, hanging above the city like a predator. Her blood ran cold. That was where they were taking her. Not for punishment, but for something worse. Tears filled her eyes, her voice breaking. Kyle, she whispered. Her chains heavy, her heart heavier. She did not know if he lived. She did not know if she would ever see him again. All she knew was that her life was no longer her own, and on the alien mothership, her fate would be decided. The alien mothership hung above the city like a shadow. Its dark surface glowed with strange lights, its shape vast enough to swallow whole towns. Inside, the air was cold and heavy, filled with the hum of alien machines. Lira was dragged through metallic corridors, her chains biting into her wrists. Her heart pounded with every step, fear rising in her chest. She was led to a chamber filled with alien symbols, sharp and cruel. In the center stood a throne of black steel, and upon it sat the commander. The alien commander was tall, his skin like stone, his eyes glowing red. He leaned forward, studying Lira as if she was prey. You are the widow, he hissed, his voice echoing like thunder. You carry what belongs to us. Lira trembled, her voice weak. I carry nothing, she whispered. But the commander laughed. Your blood carries the old code, he said. The secret of your species, the power your kind has forgotten. Her body shook, her mind spinning. The old code, the secret Kyle spoke of. It was real. The commander raised a clawed hand. Tonight we end the resistance, he said. Tonight we break the last hope of humans. He signaled to the guards. Prepare her. They dragged Lira to a platform, strapping her into a machine of glowing wires. Her heart raced. Terror flooding her veins, she pulled against the chains, but they held tight. The machine hummed, energy crawling up her arms. She screamed, the sound echoing through the chamber. Her blood felt like fire, her body shaking. The aliens watched with cruel delight. Then, suddenly, an explosion rocked the chamber. Smoke filled the air. Alarms blared. Red lights flashing. The walls shook as metal tore apart. And through the smoke, a figure burst in. It was Kale. Lyra's eyes widened, tears spilling down her face. He was alive. His body bruised, his clothes torn, but his eyes burned with fire. He cut down 2 guards with swift strikes, moving with deadly speed. "Lira!" he shouted, his voice breaking. Through the chaos, she cried out, her voice trembling. "Kale!" the commander roared, rising from his throne. "Kill him!" he ordered. Dozens of alien guards surged forward, their weapons glowing. But Kale fought like a storm, every move sharp, every strike fueled by something greater than strength. He fought with love. Every time he bled, every time he staggered. He still rose because she was there. Lira pulled against the machine, her wrists burning. She had to help him. She could not just watch. The machine hummed louder, her veins glowing with strange light. Her heart thundered, she screamed, and the chains shattered. Energy burst from her body, knocking back the guards nearest her. The aliens gasped, fear flashing in their eyes. The commander snarled. "It is awakening," he growled. Kale reached her, his hand grabbing hers. "There." Eyes met, filled with tears and fire. "You are free," he whispered. She shook her head, her voice trembling. "No," she said. "We are free." Together they stood side by side. The energy from Lyra's blood flowed into the room, crackling like lightning. The alien guards faltered, their weapons useless. The commander roared, stepping forward, his claws sharp. "You cannot fight the Empire," he shouted. But Kale's voice cut through, strong and unshaken. "We do not fight as slaves," he said. "We fight as humans." The commander lunged, his power crashing down like thunder. Kale met him head-on, their clash shaking the chamber. Lira raised her hands, the energy within her bursting outward. Light filled the room, blinding and pure. The machine exploded. The walls cracked. The mothership groaned, metal twisting. The commander screamed as the light swallowed him. And then, silence. The chamber was broken, smoke and fire rising. The guards lay defeated, their weapons shattered. Kale stood breathing hard, his body weak but alive. Lira collapsed into his arms, her energy fading. He held her close, whispering, "You did it." But she shook her head, her voice soft. "No, Kale. We did it." The mothership shuddered, alarms blaring. It was falling, breaking apart. Kyle lifted Lira, carrying her through the collapsing halls. Every step was heavy, the ship tearing apart around them. But he would not let her go. Not now. Not ever. They reached an escape pod, metal shaking as they climbed inside. Kale pressed the controls. The pod launched into the night sky. Behind them, the mothership exploded, fire and light filling the heavens. The city below lit up with the sight, humans staring in awe. The symbol of their chains was gone. Inside the pod, Lira rested against Kyle, her eyes heavy. Her voice was weak but full of hope. "It is not the end, is it?" she whispered. Kyle brushed her hair back, his voice gentle. "No," he said. "It is only the beginning, the Oi." Stars shone above, endless and bright. And for the first time Lira believed love had defied the Empire. And now, hope would rise,